so I have a really good idea of that, right? And so once I've done that and I know my value and I know what's unique to me that no one else brings, then I can begin positioning my brand publicly, right? I mean, I've done it before, but it's going to be kind of chaotic. Knowing that, knowing my brand helps me identify where systems are needed. And for me, one of my sayings, and if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you're going to see it. It's right at the top. Pay me to tame the chaos. It's kind of what I do. Wherever there's chaos, I tame it. I tame it in real, work, personal, it doesn't matter. I tame the chaos. My niece, who's not 2 anymore, when she was 2 years old, the dog got sick in the house, and she says, "The dog got sick, Nikki, do it." And with 3 words from my 2-year-old niece, she hit the heart of what everybody knows is true. Nikki does it. I am the go-to gal to fix issues and tame chaos. It's just what I do. It's who I am. And I thought it's got to be strong, right? The 2-year-old's picking up on it. So that's what I do. How I do that is everywhere that there is chaos, I look for how we can build a system to tame that chaos. And as an example, I worked with a client who had a huge print business and a large distributed team. It was super chaotic, and they were all overwhelmed. They were dropping balls, jobs were getting missed, client follow-up was not being done, and we all know if we're in business how that impacts the bottom line. So things weren't going as well as they could. So we looked at their systems, analyzed their processes, identified all their stakeholders, anybody that was going to be impacted, and looked at what their goals were going to be and where they wanted to be, where they were, where they wanted to be, and then we put a system in place. We identified bottlenecks, and then we identified ways that we could streamline that bottleneck. I heard from that client about a week ago, and his key leader on that job had left, and the rest of the team was able to just pick up and keep moving and never missed a beat. Their sales have gone up, and their customer experience has magnified because they have a system that allows them to do things efficiently. That is how I use systems. As far as creating content for my brand, Dr. Cheryl talked about speaking, using our voice. I will get on my computer like this about once a week, all by myself, normally not on a call, and I will record content. I'll do a longer form video, and from that longer form video, I can cut out snippets, and I can create my content. I can create from about 10 to 15 minutes of video. I can create a week and a half to 2 weeks of content in 2 weeks. It gets me practicing talking about who I am, what I do, and it's a system that makes it easy for me to continue creating content while focusing where it's the most important for me to focus. And it's most important for me to focus on building relationships with actual human beings. And that is how I use my systems. My systems do not stifle my creativity. They make it easier for me to think and be more creative, and they allow my impact to be measured, and they allow my results to be magnified, because I'm not always thinking, oh, I have to create this post. I'm not as good as David. I can't get up at 4 a.m. to post every day. But I will create content consistently, and I will post it, and I engage with other people. But my focus is not on, oh, I have to get up in the morning and create content. My focus is, I'm going to get online today and see who I can connect with today. And that has made the process of building my brand and scaling my brand a whole lot more fun, because I'm not worried about the back side of things. I'm worried about the face-to-face. So that is how I scale a brand. I would love to hear from people. If you have more questions, ping me on LinkedIn. I love to chat about it. And later on today, if it's not already live, I have a bingo card going with it's scaling bingo, and it's got my 10 questions on self-reflection on it. Okay, I had 40 seconds to spare. You're muted. Okay, that was amazing. I got what is your value, your unique proposition, your unique perspective, your unique proposition, what you are offering, right, in the market space. Thank you so much for that amazing one. Thank you so much. Very brave. And I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, ma'am. So please, let's give Ma'am Nikki an amazing round of applause for that powerful session. Thank you. We have Ma'am Olawumi Heavens in the. Okay, amazing. I can see Dr. Valentina Heavens has joined us as well. Thank you so much. Finally, thank you, sir. All right, let's go on to Dr. Olawumi Heavens, and it gives me immense pleasure actually to be the one introducing her, because I promise you, anywhere you get to see her, you can see influence. She doesn't even need to speak, right? So that's it. Ma'am Olawumi Heavens is a 23-year-old it's 3-year event veteran. Each time I get to see the 23 or 22, that's not her age, please. I beg your pardon. That's the number of years she's been in the industry, right? So I'd like to say she's an OG. Yes, she's an OG. She is a 23-year event veteran and monetization coach. As founder of OH Media and Events, she has trained over 5,000 professionals and helped top international companies access top-tier African talents. A sought-after speaker and trainer, she is an advisor to the Coalition of Professional Women in Politics and the spokesperson for African Women in NGO. Please, let's give a round of applause for Mrs. Olawumi Heavens as she dissects this amazing. And this is yours, ma'am. Identifying monetizable skills has always been a thing of struggle for professionals with multiple skills. So let's help someone today. How can such a person identify which skill to monetize? Let me take it again for the sake of clarity. Identifying monetizable skills has always been a thing of struggle for professionals with multiple skills. So let's help someone today. Yes, someone is on this call and would like to know what skill they would like to earn from. Yes, so how can such a person identify which skill to monetize? God bless you, ma'am. Please help us dissect this. Thank you.
Amen to that, and thank you very much. I hope you can hear me clearly. Just give me a thumbs up if you can. Okay, thank you, Dr. Cheryl. Thank you very much. When she said she's an OG, I thought to myself, oh my God, do I look 23? Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on this amazing platform, and congratulations to us all. 1 year is no mean feat. I mean, it takes consistency to be here. So congratulations, exactly. I was going Dr. Cheryl, and congratulations to the Phoenixgate president. I call her Madam President. Thank you for bringing us all here. So, we're going to talk about monetization, and we're talking about people who are multifaceted. Now, I'm going to say some things, and nothing bad, so don't worry. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. If I throw you under the bus, I'm throwing myself under the bus. So I'm talking to my tribe here, not just Phoenixgate, but I'm talking to people like myself. And my countdown of 10 minutes has started, because when I get excited, there's a lot to say. So, when we're talking about identifying, I love to just quote Barbara Shell. She is the author of Refuse to Choose, and she's talking about people like us. She calls us the scanner personality. To her, now, would I agree wholly? Let's go and find out. She says that we have a scanner personality and that it's genetically wired people who are just interested in many things. That means we don't want to stand at a spot for too long. We love exploring various things. We want to learn, and learn. We like exploring, discovering new things. But sometimes we might just be guilty of not sticking to one thing because you have a lot you want to do. And yes, come see, come sir, I will say like this, like that. Sometimes it's not just not wanting to stick to one thing, it's about having so many things that you can do. That means you can provide value in so many different ways. Now, when you meet people like this, of course, this also speaks to, the internal conflict that goes on when it comes to multi-talented people, multi-faceted, multi-skilled. So it's not about laziness. It's not about, oh, these people are not being serious. They don't want to stay in the sport. It's just the way we're wired. And then these quotes that most people just come up with when they find out you're doing this and that, they say, oh, jack of all trades. At least, I don't know about now, but when I was growing up in the teenage years, when you say I love art, I also love education, and you're saying you love maybe 2 or 3 things, they're like, she's one of those jack of all trades, master. But they forget that that's not the end of that quote. It says, jack of all trades, master of none, often better than a master of one. Meaning that there is room for multiple streams, multiple talents, multiple skills, multiple streams of income. Because you know me, you can, earlier on you saw event and media veteran monetization coach. Events is one of the things that I've done the longest. Media, I'm a second generation media personality. Now, did I start everything at the same time? No. I started my events company first, and then I just loved media and volunteered, and I just would represent different organizations on television, do media strategy. And then years down the line, I dare say up to maybe about 18, more than 18 years, 2 decades and more after I started events, that's when I professionally went into media. But I had started volunteering alongside my events. I already started doing media strategy. But coming to TV, becoming a TV presenter, becoming a TV producer, started years later. So even at that time, I didn't call myself a media personality. I didn't just see myself as that. It was one of those things I just loved doing. And we'll get to that because it's very tricky when you have a lot you can do, a lot you do well, and then you're like, what exactly do I monetize? Now, we've taken it out of the way that you're not a jack of all trades, master of none. But I'm going to give you 4 different points that I think we should build on that will help you. There are, of course, various ways that you can choose what to monetize. But one of the things is you need to start with the skills that people come to you for. I know Nikki mentioned earlier on, about the value you give to people, how people see you, what they come to you for. In that same line, that was how I saw it when she was talking. I was like, okay, that's what I'm coming to. And it talks about that skill that whether you're marketing it or not, maybe you're not even marketing it, like I did media, I just volunteered in INGOs and NGOs, and I still do it till today. So I had positions like vice president media, vice president publicity, those kind of things. But in my mind, I can do it in my sleep. But most of the time, we are too close to our own genius. You know this is what you know how to do, but because it comes easy to you, you just write it off. But you need to realize that that is data. You need to find out those things that come easy to you, those things, those random things that people come to you for. And then tell you, ask the people around you, ask your friends, because it doesn't seem complex to talent or gift. So instead of going to a friend and saying, what do you think I'm good at? What? But what would that one thing be that stands out to them? So you text, that's what I call it. Track your joy, your ease. What energizes you? Of course, in business, there's some places where you can do some business. It's not because you're passionate about it, but you know this is where the market is going. But when you start to monetize, you need to find out what are those things that give me joy, that if they're not paying me, because sometimes you start a business and it's not all working out immediately, but you still get going. What is that thing? Pen it down. Meaning that, wow, this is something I can do. Now you also beyond just saying what I love doing, what comes easy for me, you need to ask yourself what is in demand. What's trending in the industry that I fall within? What's that thing that people will pay me for? There's some gifts you have that people love. They probably will laugh. Now, comedians are getting paid well. When I was growing up, if you made people laugh, you're laughing. If you made people laugh, it was good for the soul, but it wasn't good for your pocket. They weren't going to pay you anything. Of course, you won't lose your joy, but you need to ask yourself,